Hi, everybody. I want to talk about one of the one of the biggest casualties probably from this election, and unfortunately, it's going to be probably the Second Amendment. As someone that grew up in the Midwest with a strong background in guns. I grew up on a farm, and we always had guns. Always used them. Was around guns a lot. To see the Second Amendment go is a big disappointment. Um, Obama is not in favor of guns. He's always had a very strong anti-gun bent. That's probably one of my biggest criticisms of Clinton. She's very anti-gun, and my belief that Donald Trump is going to continue to be anti-gun or support the Second Amendment. I got about as much hope in that as I got to of swimming across the ocean and making it to Hawaii anytime soon. I mean, it ain't going to happen. Trump is not a pro-gun guy. He's a New York liberal, and if you go back and trace his history, he really hasn't even said much about guns. And this site I find Bearing Arms, which is a big site, they go and they look at some stuff about Trump. And Trump, before he started running for president, his biggest public statement about guns is the fact that he supported the 1994 Clinton assault ban or assault weapon ban, which is supporting the ban on AR-15s. And the thing about Trump that is so, to me, troubling is he's just overly aggressive about being a pro Second Amendment guy. Even to the point that everybody should be carrying guns, and he's just making a big deal out about how pro gun he is. Goes on about his sons and how much pro gun they are, members of the NRI. Everybody's pro gun, go pro gun. Everybody should have a gun. They should have had guns when they were, in the nightclub. Somebody in there should have had guns firing back. I mean, crazy statements, just crazy stuff that he says. But apparently, before he started running for president, he's pretty much silent about guns. In fact, right here they say the only public statement we can find about Donald Trump in relationship to guns prior to his decision to run for president has been his support for banning them. And there's a video out there. I think I'll post it down below. It's about he even says that he's something about how he hates guns. It could be taken out of context. I think it kind of is, but giving him the benefit of the doubt, I would say that that statement may not be accurate. But the point of the matter is, I have no faith in this guy as far as his ability or his wanting to defend the Second Amendment and keep it somewhat giving people. He's a guy that loves to have protection for himself, but doesn't really care about the rest of the public having any kind of ability to own a firearm. This guy is strictly self-absorbed into himself and what's good for Donald Trump, not what's good for anybody else. He says what he needs to say for people to like him or for people to think that he's going to be um, that he. I don't even know. I mean, I don't even. I have my doubts if he even really wants to win this election, but I really have my doubts if he ever did win that he'd be any friend of the Second Amendment. So, like I say in the video, the title of the video, the late great Second Amendment, is probably one of the greatest freedoms anybody could ever give or have, is the right to bear and own firearms. I don't know how much longer we're going to have it. Actually, it's kind of going away. It's been going away probably for years now. For 4 years, it's probably been going away. It's probably going to die with a little bit of a fizzle rather than a bang. It's not going to just like be one day all of a sudden you can't own a firearm. They just slowly take this right away, little by little by little by little by little. And I think Trump is right in with this game. I think he'd support a lot of bans and a lot of restrictions on firearms. In fact, I think I read in here someplace where, oh man, I mean, I think Cruz wrote this in here someplace about him actually cutting deals. Something about cutting deals with Schumer about everybody's talking about the Supreme Court justices. We've got a couple of them coming up for appointment here, and Trump basically cutting deals, saying, you know, I'm gonna elect a liberal for the Supreme Court. But whatever happens, I don't think the Second Amendment's got much hope. I think either Clinton gets in or Trump gets in. Either one of them is not going to be in favor of the Second Amendment, or the Second Amendment is really kind of, you know, a fading privilege or a fading right that we're losing quickly. So I think that's going to be one of the big casualties of this election is the Second Amendment. And unfortunately, I don't know. You know, I don't think either candidate's going to do much to support it. So unless Trump all of a sudden um, has some newfound interest in the Second Amendment. I mean, up until this point, he's not even 70 years old, and he's really found very little to say about the Second Amendment until he's ready to run for president. All of a sudden, then he becomes over the top Second Amendment. Before that, he has very little to say outside of the fact that he wants to ban assault weapons and throw in with a you know, somebody like Clinton, as far as the Clintons are very anti-gun. So you know, if he's throwing with that kind of a legislation, then you know that he really that's more of his drift or more of his belief system than what he's saying now. I mean, that's just the way it is. So anyway, I appreciate you listening. Thank you very much.